Here is my audience.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hi, my name is Stephen Crider, and I did my speech on Ronald Reagan's address on the Challenger speech. Ronald Reagan's address on the Challenger speech was a very incredible and upbringing speech to the United States of America. Ronald Reagan gave this speech prior to the events in the tragic Space Challenger shuttle breaking into pieces on its way into space. This resulted in the tragic death of all 7 members of the crew. To say that the President Reagan's address promoted national betterment would be an understatement. Ronald's speech brought the country together in a time when it was needed most. And as President Reagan would say, we mourn the death of the 7 space challengers together. President Reagan was in the midst of serving his second presidential term when this event occurred. President Reagan was the 40th President of the United States and was in office from 1981 to 1989. Before serving as president, Reagan was the governor of California. He ran for president under the Republican Party, which he served both of his terms under. He accomplished many things that bettered the nation as a whole. Prayers in school and moment of silence were all something that President Reagan accomplished. President Reagan also fought the war on drugs very hard. And one of his greatest accomplishments was the end of the Cold War. All of these things were things that President Reagan focused very hard on while in office. While in office, President Reagan was faced with many tough tasks, but I do not think there was one more tragic than that of the breaking apart of the shuttle Challenger. The Challenger shuttle was the second orbiter of the NASA space program. The shuttle had completed 9 orbits at the beginning of 1983, and it sadly broke apart, taking off in 1986. 7 crew members were on the ship, preparing for takeoff when the ship broke apart 73 seconds into the mission, resulting in the death of all 7 members. The event resulted in a 2.5-year grounding of all shuttle fleets in the United States of America. This event was nationally televised and was a very tragic due to the amount of Americans that saw the 7 crew members pass. These crew members were brilliant, big-hearted, and brave for their actions. This speech that President Reagan gave was a positive message to the entire country. Ronald recognized how courageous and brave these crew members were and that they were heroes for trying to accomplish this mission, and they knew the dangers that they would be facing. This event was one to be honored, and the 7 members would not be forgotten for their courageous acts. And as President Reagan would say, this is not the end of the shuttle fleet exploration. We will continue to explore for the expansion of human betterment in remembrance of the 7 challengers. In a time of such tragedy and distress, Ronald promoted the betterment of the nation by bringing everyone together by this very well-spoken address. With such a horrible event taking place, I do not think it could have been handled any better by President Reagan. In 1986, when the Challenger broke apart, there was question and distress on what everyone should do on this terrible day. With these 7 heroes falling, President Reagan gave one of his most memorable speeches, saying, "Give me a challenge and I'll meet it with joy." To say that President Reagan's address promoted national betterment would be an understatement. Ronald's speech brought the country together at a time when it was needed most. In addition, these brave men and women will always be remembered for their courageous act. Thank you guys for listening and have a good day.